Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go through the theory for financial maths. So a bit to get through, but most of what you need to know relates to percentages. So please make sure you've got a few examples in your bound book to refer to in the exam. Okay, so to express a number as a percentage, we just multiply it by 100. So if we've got, a decimal which is 0.5, it's the same as 50%. So we just multiply by 100. If we've given a percentage and we want to represent it as a fraction or decimal, we just do the opposite, which is divide by 100. A percentage of a number can be found using multiplication. So 25% of 26 is the same as 0.25 times 26. So basically what they've done is we've taken the 25, divided it by 100, okay, and that gives us 0.25. Okay, so we've just converted that 25% into a decimal, and the word of, okay, so if we're taking amount of something, means the same as multiply. So that's why it's 0.25 times 26. So 25% of 26 is $6.50. One quantity can be expressed as a percentage of another quantity by writing as a fraction using the same units and converting to a percentage. So do make sure, especially with financial maths, if you're working with money, you've got to make sure they're both in dollars or both in cents. Okay, you can't have something in dollars and something in cents, otherwise it's not going to work. All right, so you make sure you have them at in the same units. To find an original amount, use the unitary method. Okay, so you may have been taught this previously, and this is a good way of doing, actually I think we did do it. I taught you the mental way of doing percentages, and that's called the unitary method. All right, so for example, if we've got 3%, if we want to take 3% of an amount, is 36, we can work out what 1% of that amount is. Okay, so if we want 3% of an amount, so if we know that 3% of an amount is 36, 1%, okay, is 3 divided by 3. So to get from 3% to 1%, we just divide by 3. So we do the same to 36. So 36 divided by 3 gives you 12. So 3% of 36 is, let's just do it here. I feel like it's easier if I just, what am I doing? Should just start the video again. Okay, 3% is equal to $36. So if I wanted to get just 1%, you can say, well, what do I divide that 3% by? I divide it by 3. So whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. 36 divided by 3 gives me 12. So that's where the $12 has come from. So if you wanted 100% of that amount, then you can just multiply that 12 by 100. We can also use division. So 3% of the amount is $36. So we can just set up an equation. So 0.03, that's just converting the percentage into a decimal. So 3 divided by 100, that's where the 0.03 comes from. Times an amount. So we can just call that amount X is 36. So if we divide both sides by 0.03, and that's how we can get the 1200. Now this second method I think is a bit easier. All right, so you're taking 3% of an amount, but we don't know what that amount is, but we know it's equal to 36. So you're just going to set up your equation and solve it. All right, so let's do some building understanding questions. Divide these percentages by 100 to express them as fractions. So 3% is 3 over 100. 11%, 11 over 100, 35%. Now we should probably simplify this one. So we look for the highest common factor. So I know that 5 goes into 35 and 100. So 5 goes into 35 7 times and into 100 20 times. And then we've got 8 over 100. So looking for the highest common factor, which is 4. So 4 goes into 8 twice and into 125 times. All right, divide these percentages by 100 and express them as decimals. Okay, so if you're dividing by 100, basically, we've got 4 divided by 100. You can just take that 4 and move your decimal place 2 spots. So our decimal is here, and then we're going to move it 1, add a 0, move it 2, and there it is. So your number becomes 0.04. The good thing about dividing by 100 with decimals is you can kind of just do it without moving your decimal. So for 23, it's gone 1, 2, so it's 0.23. 86, 0.86, and then 46.3, 0.46. We only have 1 decimal place when we're working with numbers, and it's moved in front of the 4, so we write it as 0.463. All right, express these simple decimals and fractions as percentages. So what we need to do is multiply by 100. So 0.5 times 100 gives you 50, so 50%. 0.25 times 100 gives you 25%. Now I prefer working with decimals, so I know 3/4 is the same as 0.75. So 0.75 times 100 equals 75%. And I know 1/5 is 0.2. So we're going to do 0.2 times 100 equals 20%. All right. Moving on to the next key ideas. So to increase an amount by a given percentage, multiply by 100 plus the given percentage, because basically you want to include what you already have and add more to it. So if we wanted to increase something by 30%, we need to add that 30% to 100. All right, and it's extremely important that you do that. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with the percentage amount, not the total amount. So the 100 just means we're taking the full amount and we're adding an extra 30%. So if you think about having, let's say, let's do a glass. You got a drink there. Okay, let's fill it up. All right, and so 30% of that is basically, we're going to cut it just maybe around a third. So there's a third. All right, we want to increase it by 30%. So if I just wanted to take 30%, I'm just left with that small amount on the top. All right, I haven't added it. So basically I've got this whole container plus an additional 30% of it. Okay, so don't forget you want your original plus the extra because we're increasing it by that amount. So we've got 100%, what we already had, and we've got an extra 30%. It's kind of like if you see sometimes, you know, you can get a can of drink and it says bonus 30%. All right, so you've got your can. So let's maybe think about that being a can of Coke. And you're like, oh, this can looks huge. And you probably think, oh, they've given me an extra 30%. So you've got your original can size and they're giving you a bit more on top. Okay, so you've got to include both of them. All right, so 130% is the same if we were to divide by 100. It gives you 1.3. Okay, so usually we call that our factor, all right, how much it's increased by. So it's increased by 130% or a factor of 1.3. It's the same as if we were to double something, we multiply it by 2, or we're getting 200%. So if you think of my can of drink, if I multiply that by, oh gosh, this is terrible when I don't take my time drawing. Oh, I didn't want you. I wanted my water. My drawing's a bit silly. Okay, let's fill it with water now. Or Coke or whatever you want to have. All right, so we've got 2 of them. So we've got 100% plus 100% gives us the 200%. Okay, so to decrease an amount by a given percentage, multiplying 100% minus, okay, so this is important, minus the given percentage. So if you wanted to decrease something by 25%, we're going to have to take that away. So again, if we thought of our drink, or maybe we can do something else. Let's think of a pizza. All right, so there's my pizza cut into 8 slices. All right, and if I wanted to take away 25%, so I've eaten, there you go, cross it out. That's all gone. And I'm left with now just 3/4, so I'll colour that in. So I've got a blue pizza. All right, so we're left with that. So it's basically asking, what are you left with? So we're left with 75%. Okay, so if you increase something, it's greater than 100. If it's decreased, it's less than 100. All right, so to find a percentage change or absolute percentage difference, okay, so just make sure I got my highlighter. Your percentage change is your amount of change divided by your original times 100. Percentage error, I don't think we're actually doing this, so we might just leave percentage error. Difference between measured value and theoretical. Yeah, don't worry about that. All right, so let's go through some building understanding. So to increase a number by 40%, multiply by, so we got take the original percentage amount and we add 40%. Oops, not 400. All right, which is 140%. Now, if we're doing that as a multiplication factor, it's 1.4. All right, so the 140 as a decimal is 1.4. Multiplying by 1.21 increases a number by 21%. All right, so it increases it by 21% because 100%, it just stays the same. So it's increasing it by 21%. To decrease a number by 73%, we multiply by, so 100% minus 73, because remember we're decreasing this time. What is that? It is 27%. And if we were doing that as a decimal, it's 0.27. Multiplying by 0.94 decreases a number by, so you can just do 1 minus 0.94, which is 0.06, which is 6%. The price of a watch increases from $120 to $150. What is the price increase? So we're looking at the price increase, not a percentage. So it's gone up by $30. So 120 to 150, it's gone up by $30. Express this increase as a percentage of the original price. So it's going to be 30 over 120, and that is 25%. All right, so it's a 25% increase in the original price. A person's weight decreases from 108 kilos to 96 kilos. What is the weight decrease? So that's 12 kilos. And express it. So we're going to do 12 over the original weight is 108. And I'm just going to do that on my calculator. But I think I know what the answer is. All right, so it's 11.1% if we're just doing one decimal place. All right, moving along. Okay, so next lot of key ideas. So profit. So profit is the difference between your selling price and the cost price. And a bus has just gone past, or is it a truck? Anyway, so your selling price, like let's say we have a bakery and we sell these delicious cakes for $50. Okay, so that's our selling price, but it just costs me $20 to make them. So my profit is $30, which is pretty good. Markup is how much you're added onto the price. So is the amount added to the cost price to produce the selling price. So just take note of these. So let's just, so your selling price equals the cost price plus the markup. So you can see with my cakes, it cost me $20 and I increase the value by 30. So that's my selling price. The percentage profit or loss can be found by dividing the profit or loss by the cost price and multiplying by 100. So If it was, let me just think. If it was negative, it would be a loss. If it was positive, it would be a profit. So if you're looking at the percentage profit or loss, you just do that over your cost price and multiply by 100. And lastly, your discount is the amount by which an item is marked down. So your new price is your original price minus your discount. So let's say with my $50 cakes, at the end of the day, I didn't want to throw them out. They weren't going to be good enough to sell tomorrow. So I discounted them by $10. Okay, so 50 minus 10 gives you $40. And if we're doing it as a percentage, the percentage discount multiplied by the original price. All right, so let's have a look at this. I'm just seeing how much more we've got to go. Okay, state the missing numbers in the table. Okay, so our cost price is 7. So let's say we were selling fidget spinners. Okay, so I bought a whole lot of eBay for $7 each, and then I sold them to my friends at school for $10. Okay, so I made a profit of $3. Let's say I bought umbrellas. And I thought I'll take them to school because it was raining the other day and I can sell them, but no one was buying them. So I reduced the amount to $15.50 just to get rid of them. So I actually made a loss because 18 minus $15.50 gives me $2.50. So I actually made a loss. All right, the next one, we've made a $4.50 profit. So with your cost price, it's going to be $4.50 less than my selling price. So let's quickly just do that in our head. So 11 minus 4 is 7, so it's going to be $7.30. All right, and then last one, we've made a loss of 1,180. So that means our selling price has to be less than our cost price by 1,180. Let me just quickly do that. Nope. Oh God, what am I doing? I might have to just check that. Doing everything in my head while talking. 3250 minus 1180. Yeah, I thought that was a 0 there. My bad. Okay, so 2070. All right, part 2. The following percentage discounts are given on the price of various products. State the sale price as a percentage of the original price. So the following percentage discounts are given on the price of various products. State the sale price as a percentage. I don't know. I think I might need to just pause to think about what they're asking. All right. No, I don't get what it's asking now. So if we got 10% discount, it means we're now only paying for 90% of the profit, the 90% of the item, whatever it is. Think about it like on your mobile phone, how you've got your little battery bar up the top. All right, so there's your battery. And when it's full, all right, it's at 100%, which is always awesome. Probably when you wake up in the morning and it's been on charge all night and it's only downhill from there. Now, let's say on our way to school, we are on YouTube, and we're on YouTube so much that it now goes down and we've only got 30% left. So that means it's gone down by, so what's this? It's gone down by 70%. So basically you've got to say, well, to get to 100%, what do I add to 10%? Or what's 100 take away 10%? So we're just looking at 90%. So we're just left with 90%. So I've used 70% battery. I'm left with 30%. With the cost of something, it's gone down by 10%. So I'm just paying for 90% of it. With the 15%, okay, so 100 minus 15 gives us 85. So we're only paying for 85% of the product. All right, sorry, 85% of the cost of the product. You don't go and buy a cake and they've cut a chunk out. It's only 85% of the cost, not the actual product. Okay, and simple interest. So we did this the other day. So remember, your simple interest formula, just focus on this one here. Same thing, but your I is your interest rate. So remember that's telling you here. So I is the amount of simple interest. Then you've got P, which is your principal. So your principal is how much you start off with. Then there's a multiplication sign in between P and R. So R is your interest rate. The word per annum, you might say, that just means per year. And then there's a times T. So T stands for time, and time is usually expressed in years. If it's given to you in months, you need to convert it into years. All right, so we divide by 100. So that's our formula. If you like, you can put your multiply signs in between the P, R, and the T. Now, if you have to work out your total amount, so how much you have at the end of something, so maybe you've put some money in the bank as an investment. All right, so the principal is how much you put in. So if you wanted to invest $1,000, that's your principal amount, and then you earn interest on that. So the amount you're left with is just your principal plus the interest amount. All right, let's answer these building understanding questions and then we're done. Okay, so $12,000 is invested at 6% per annum for 42 months. What is the principal amount? So the amount we start off with, which is $12,000. What is the interest rate? It is 6%. What is the time period in years? So we've got 42 months. So to convert that into years, we can just divide by 100. So how many times does 12 go into 100? I think it's 3.5. Let me just do it on my calculator. It is 3.5, which is good. All right, so 3.5 years. How much interest is earned each year? So 6%. Oh, how much interest? Okay. Not the interest rate. So we've got to work that out. I'll do that over here with our little calculator. So calculator with our formula. So your interest, so we've got 12,000 times your interest rate, which is 6, times your time. Remember your time has to be in years. So we only want to do it for 1 year. That's tricking us, isn't it? So we want to do it just for this question, for question E, we're just doing it for 1 year. So we're going to multiply that by 1, divided by 100. So, all right, you can do that on your calculator. I'm just going to quickly cancel that. So 120 times 6, so 6 to 60. Thought I'd do it in my head, but so yeah, 720. Okay, so in 1 year we've earned $720. Now in 2 years, now this is what you can do. You can use the same formula and then just change this to a 2. But if we know we get 720 in 1 year, 2 years, we're just going to multiply that by 2. So it's the same thing. With simple interest, it's a bit different to compound interest. Compound interest, you earn interest on interest. This is just flat rate of 720 each year. So what is that, 1440? All right, and then how much interest is earned after 42 months? So we can still take that 720 and multiply it by 3.5. I'm just going to do that on my calculator. So 2,520. All right, how many years is the following number of months? So 36 months. So you just divide it by 12. 3 years, 18 divided by 12. That's going to be 1.5. And 66 divided by 12. That's 5.5. How many months is the following number of years? Okay, so this time we multiply by 12. So 4 times 12 is 48. 2.5 times 12, 12, 24, 30. And 7.25 times 12, so 70, 84, and 87. Okay. All right, so that's it for financial. So one more video to go, girls, which is measurement. Bye.